Good Wednesday morning out there, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week out there. Welcome to another forecast video here for you guys this morning. There's a lot to go over here in this video. We're talking about flooding, severe weather, drought, wildfires, as well as your tropical weather update and kind of the climatology here on La Nina as well as we go through this video. A very informative video here for you guys, breaking down the weather pattern over the next several weeks and several days ahead. So definitely stick with me here. If you guys have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely press that subscribe button down below, as well as the like button here down below as well after the video is over. It would be much appreciated, guys. Thank you all to subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you all for liking my videos here as well. Definitely much appreciated, guys, and thank you very much. Right now, guys, looking here at the last 72 hours, lots of heavy rain across the Ohio River Valley, down through the Tennessee River Valley and the Mid-South, across portions of Arkansas, Tennessee, much of the Gulf Coast states here, from portions of Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia. Some of these areas have seen multiple inches of rain, but the area that I've kept my eye on for some heavier rainfall here accumulation has been southeastern Illinois into western Kentucky. A couple of these areas have actually seen 6 to 8 plus inches of rain over the last 72 hours across the Olney, Illinois area, the Mount Vernon, Illinois area, and getting down toward Evansville, Indiana there. Very heavy rainfall there over the last 72 hours, and that did cause some significant flooding as well across those areas in that time frame as well. So that is something to watch as we move forward. Looking here at the orange shaded areas from Texas, Oklahoma, all the way through the Missouri Ozarks, portions of the Ohio Valley, as well as the I-95 corridor from Boston, Massachusetts, down through New York City. We got those heat advisories in the orange shaded areas. But looking up here to the Pacific Northwest, we have these pink shaded areas here from portions of central Montana, getting back into southeastern and eastern Washington State and northeastern Oregon State. This is actually a red flag warning for dry soils up there here for some potential, wildfire concerns up in these areas as we head through the day today. So looking at this here with the fire weather outlook here, we have elevated fire weather concerns across eastern Washington State, getting down here into central Oregon State, but a little bit more of a critical fire weather concern across central and northern Montana as well, with even an elevated fire weather risk kind of extending into far northwestern South Dakota as well. So there's a lot of dry soils up in this area here as well. You can see the relative humidity values are very low here in these brown shaded areas. Very low relative humidity values as we kind of move through the next few hours here through the day. Some of these areas might be down to near 10 or even 5% relative humidity, very, very low, and that is actually reflected here on the dew point temperatures as well. Mid to even low 20s for dew points in central portions of Montana, even some upper 20s to lower 30 dew points here into portions of the Pacific Northwest down through Washington and Oregon State. So definitely very low dew points, very low relative humidity, and that is sparking that fire weather risk as we head here through the today. But that doesn't even stop there today. We actually do have another risk for some fire weather concerns as we head into tomorrow, your Thursday. Critical fire weather again in these same areas across northern and central portions of Montana. Even some elevated fire weather concerns across portions of southeastern Washington State into eastern Oregon State here as well, and much of these same areas as we head here into tomorrow, just like we're seeing today. And again, these relative humidity values might come up a little bit across portions of Montana tomorrow, but still in those brown shaded areas, even those green shaded areas, still kind of seeing that 40% or lower relative humidity across much of the Pacific Northwest, even really just much of the Rockies as well, as we move here into your Thursday afternoon. And again, you can see that reflected here on the dew point map here. You can see dew point temperatures in the middle and upper 30s across the Pacific Northwest, even some lower 50s, starting to move into southern portions of Montana, which will start to help some of that fire weather risk. But again, in northern Montana, northwestern Montana, with dew points in the lower 30s, the relative humidity is actually going to be rather low there for some fire weather concerns and the potential for wildfires that could spread very rapidly. So definitely no outdoor burning, nothing like that, because that could actually aggravate the fire weather across these areas. And the reason why we're seeing this as well is that we have a large drought that's, you guys know very well, that's been ongoing from portions of Texas, much of the central southern plains, all the way across the southwestern United States here. Nothing new, guys, but we're seeing a lot of actually, severe and extreme drought across portions of northern Montana, and that's actually fueling those drier soils here with the, wildfire risk across those areas as well. And that's kind of why we're seeing that across much of, Montana, much of Washington State and Oregon State, with that, severe, extreme, and even some exceptional drought starting to develop across central Oregon State as well. So that is something to watch in the next few days. But concerning the temperatures across the board here, guys, on your Wednesday, August 3rd today, yeah, we got widespread 100s once again across the central and southern plains, 101 into portions there of southern and southeastern Kansas, 103 in Oklahoma City, 104 in Dallas-Fort Worth, 105 in Wichita Falls, 100 degrees up towards the Joplin, Missouri area, and 96 in St. Louis here. Some of this heat will start to, build to the east as well, just, including parts of the Ohio Valley down through the southeastern United States. Even that I-95 corridor where those heat advisories are for the Boston area, mid-80s, but with dew points in the 60s and 70s, that could make you feel like temperatures around the 100-degree mark. So that's why that heat advisory is there as we head into this afternoon. We are watching a cold front moving across portions of the western Great Lakes as we head into this afternoon as well. Along and ahead of that cold front here, we're watching the potential for severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center's Day 1 outlook actually has a slight risk from lower Michigan as well as northern Indiana, much of central Illinois, and also eastern portions of Missouri. This does include Kalamazoo, Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, as well as South Bend and Gary, Indiana, Chicago, Illinois, as well as the Peoria, Illinois area, as well as just south of Kirksville, Missouri. Some of these areas could be seeing the potential for scattered severe weather, even that marginal risk kind of extending down towards St. Louis and getting down into portions of the southern Missouri, Ozarks region, as well as eastern Kansas as well as we move into this afternoon. Even a smaller risk here for some microburst type of thunderstorm events across portions of southeastern Arizona as we head into the afternoon and evening as well. But looking at the individual, risk hazards here, yeah, we do have that marginal to slight risk for damaging winds that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour across parts here of the Great Lakes, getting down into the Missouri Valley, across the Chicagoland area, getting up here into portions of central Michigan and eastern portions there of Missouri. Even that microburst potential, like I was alluding to earlier, across portions of southeastern Arizona, with the potential for these stronger updrafts to produce these, very strong, thunderstorms that could produce some damaging winds that spread out here in all directions across the surface. That would be a microburst, and that's what we could see as we head here into later on this afternoon. The hail threat's not too impressive. We have a 5% chance here for large hail that could be up to around an inch in diameter, so that quarter-size hail out there across the Great Lakes, getting down through the Illinois Valley and in the Missouri Valley here as well as eastern Kansas. But we do have a tornado risk across portions of Michigan there, that 2% chance of tornadoes across portions of Lansing, Kalamazoo, and even the Grand Rapids area there in Michigan. Maybe a brief spin-up tornado. Again, not a really, large tornado day per se. I think the main mode of severe weather will be damaging winds, followed by large hail, and then a brief isolated tornado across the Michigan area as we head through the afternoon. Let's kind of break this down for you guys. You can clearly see where the cold front is here. Right behind the cold front, we got dew points in the mid and upper 50s. Ahead of the cold front, we got that very moist, low-level environment here with dew points rising into the middle and low 70s out there. Even some upper 70s, starting to build in across portions of central Illinois, central and northern Indiana, and that will fuel some of this instability out there here, where you see the purples and even the whites developing on this map for instability or CAPE, convective available potential energy. Yeah, we're starting to see values of 4,000 to 4,500 start to develop. That is strong to extreme amounts of instability, and that will be fed into this thunderstorm potential as we head into later on this afternoon. Now, looking kind of at the shear environment, the shear, the wind shear out there, not very impressive. We've seen more impressive, setups than this, but with all that strong instability out there, it really won't take much shear to kind of get some of these storms to really, fire up and really sustain themselves as we head into later on this afternoon and this evening. We're starting to see a little bit more, shear in proximity to that upper level low across portions of Michigan, and then a little bit more shear starting to develop across northern and northeastern Missouri that could kind of feed into a secondary area of storms as we head into later on this afternoon. So let's kind of look at the composite reflectivity here using the NAM model, and you can see as we move toward 15Z, which would be early on here in the afternoon, 1-2 o'clock this afternoon, some scattered showers, maybe embedded thunderstorms from portions of northern Michigan through portions of southern and central Wisconsin, all the way down through central Iowa, so places like Des Moines, Madison, Wisconsin, and getting up here towards just north of Detroit, north of Kalamazoo and Lansing there. Yeah, you could be talking about some scattered showers and storms. A few severe thunderstorms are possible, especially in northern Michigan during this time. But as we kind of move toward late this afternoon here around the 21Z time frame, which would be around 3-4 o'clock this afternoon, so late afternoon time frame, we start to see kind of some line segments or kind of, squall lines of storms starting to develop across Detroit, back back across southern Michigan as well as across the Lake Michigan area towards Chicago as well. Some of these storms could be capable of producing wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, that large hail, and maybe even an isolated tornado, a spin-up tornado along the leading edge here of this line of storms across especially Michigan as we head toward late this afternoon. And then it all kind of merges with the kind of a line of storms from portions of the Missouri Ozarks through the Illinois Valley down there towards Peoria, Illinois, the St. Louis area, all the way over toward Indianapolis, and even into northwestern Ohio as well, and even maybe some post-frontal storms continue to just kind of billow up across portions of northern Missouri, or rather northern Michigan as we move here into early this evening. That will continue to propagate its way to the south and east here, and will kind of shut off the storm potential from north to south as we head here into the evening hours into your early Friday morning. But concerning the rainfall amounts out there, some pretty impressive amounts here in widespread fashion from southern Ontario, Canada, all the way through Michigan, portions there of northern Indiana, central and southern Illinois, as well as a big pocket of rainfall, even some heavy rainfall across the Missouri Ozarks, downstate Missouri there. Some of these areas could be approaching 3 inches of rain in southern Missouri, even some widespread 1 to 2 inches of rain across portions of the Illinois Valley, getting up here to portions of Michigan and even southern Ontario as we head through the afternoon. Even some tropical weather, with some tropical rainfall across portions of, the New Orleans area, getting down toward the Jackson, Mississippi area, and across western Florida as well, with some tropical moisture, maybe some scattered showers and storms there. And you can clearly see as we head into the afternoon that monsoonal weather will be going strong across the Four Corners region in the desert southwest from Arizona into New Mexico, up through the front range of the Rockies here into the Colorado. Yes, some widespread rainfall amounts averaging around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain across some of these areas here, with that progressive plume of moisture moving up here across western Mexico into these regions as well. Looking here at the flooding risk here with these storms here, with the line of storms across the middle of the country, yeah, we have that slight risk for excessive rainfall and flash flooding, at least a 15% chance of flash flooding across those areas. Even a smaller slight risk zone down toward New Orleans for the potential of some, excessive rainfall there as well. And then a large marginal risk here kind of covering much of the Gulf Coast, much of the center of the country, as well as the desert southwest, where that monsoon will be going strong from Nevada all the way down through central and southern California, much of Arizona here, New Mexico, and the front range of the Rockies, again toward the Denver area as well. But as we kind of move here into your Thursday time frame here, we'll start to see that cold front move farther down to the south across the Ohio Valley, the southern Great Lakes, and into parts of New England. But then here to the west, we'll also see this kind of retreat back northward as a very strong warm front here, with a lot of daytime heating across portions of the central and northern plains here behind that warm front. And we'll see temperatures rising well into the 90s, well into the 100-degree marks here, all the way up into southern Canada perhaps, as we head into Thursday, August 4th, 102 up toward the Billings, Montana area, 99 in Rapid City, South Dakota here, 93 in Lincoln, Nebraska, 100 degrees again as we move down toward the Oklahoma City area, and 103 in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as we move into your Thursday, August 4th time frame for afternoon highs. But we aren't seeing any severe weather potential. The Storm Prediction Center's Day 2 outlook doesn't highlight even a marginal risk. We just have general thunderstorm potential across the entire United States as we head into Thursday afternoon. And you can see that here with the NAM model. Again, early afternoon here on your Thursday, 1, 2 o'clock, we might have an ongoing complex of showers and storms across the Memphis area, getting in toward the Music City there, in Nashville, across western Tennessee, northeastern portions of Arkansas. But then other than that, we're just going to see some scattered showers and storms develop here across portions of the Intermountain West here, all the way down into the desert southwest areas, with that monsoon moisture continuing to plume to the north here across western Mexico into the southwestern United States. And then that frontal boundary with that cold front here, some scattered showers and storms across portions of the southern Great Lakes into interior New England, as well as portions of southern Quebec and southern Ontario, Canada, as we head toward late afternoon here on your Thursday. And again, the same here continues as we head into the evening and overnight hours going into your Friday morning across much of these same areas as well. So looking at the precipitation amounts as we move into the Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening time frame, widespread amounts here across the southern Great Lakes, interior New England, all the way down into portions there of the foothills of Missouri, into portions of the western Tennessee Valley. Some of these areas could be receiving 1 to 2 inches of rainfall across Ohio, getting down into portions of south central Indiana, southern southern Illinois, and kind of the bullseye for heavy rain in this purplish area here across southeastern Missouri, northwestern Tennessee, and western Kentucky, with rainfall amounts that could be over 1.5 inches to perhaps 2 inches of rain as we head into that Thursday afternoon time frame. And that is why the Weather Prediction Center has added a slight risk of excessive rainfall and flash flooding across interior New England, getting down through the southern Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley there from portions of western New York State, northwestern Pennsylvania, through much of Ohio, Indiana, downstate Illinois, and getting down towards southeastern portions there of Missouri. Even a slight risk here for some flash flooding with the monsoon moisture across portions of western New Mexico, as well as much of Arizona here as well. So definitely a lot of flooding there as we move through your Thursday time frame as well. But as we get beyond Thursday, as we get towards that Friday time frame here, really the big story is going to turn to the heat, guys. We're going to have a ridge of high pressure centered across portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, and the Texas Panhandle. To the north, we kind of have a little bit of that zonal flow continuing across the northern U.S. and southern Canada. We do have a little bit of an upper level trough across portions there of Manitoba, Canada, that'll kind of keep this, ridge from, amplifying too far to the north, but still a lot of heat out there, and that will just continue as we head towards that Saturday time frame. Saturday, August 6th, and even, Sunday, August 7th here, we'll start to see a little bit of an influence here with some cooler anomalies with temperatures moving across the upper Midwest and then, the upper Great Lakes region in association with a stronger cold front that will bring some more showers and storms across portions of the upper Midwest and Great Lakes as we head into later this weekend. But still, that heat will be going strong across the southern United States and much of the western United States as we move into the weekend here as well. And I'll show you that here, guys. Yeah, Friday, August 5th, widespread 90s, widespread 100s from the Dakotas all the way south through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and that just continues to kind of push its way to the east across portions of the middle Mississippi Valley, the Missouri Valley, as well as portions of the southern plains as we head into Saturday, August 6th, and even, the Sunday time frame on August 7th. Again, a lot of that heat kind of bottled up to the south across portions of the central and southern plains along the Gulf Coast there. Even some widespread lower 90s across the I-95 corridor and in portions there from Boston to New York City, all the way across the New England region here as well. But some refreshing air behind a cold front as we head into Sunday afternoon across portions of Minnesota, the eastern Dakotas, and much of northern Wisconsin, so the Wisconsin Dells, Duluth, Minnesota, getting up toward the the Arrowhead of Minnesota there, and even to portions of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Some very refreshing afternoon temperatures as we head into that Sunday time frame. But look at the west, guys. On Sunday, August 7th, the west here, the western United States, again, the Pacific Northwest will start to heat up again as we kind of move toward that second week here in August. But looking here at the precipitation amounts this weekend, looking kind of at the monsoonal areas, a lot of heavy rainfall falling across the Denver area, getting down through portions of Phoenix, Flagstaff, getting into portions there of the Tucson area in Arizona, even west of Albuquerque there in New Mexico. A lot of heavier rainfall from the monsoon weather. Looking up to the north across the upper Midwest here, we got the cold front starting to sag its way to the south across portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and maybe even northern Iowa, bringing some heavier rainfall there as well. Maybe some stronger thunderstorms there as well as we head into the weekend. We'll kind of fine-tune the details as we get a little bit closer. But even on Sunday, guys, widespread heavy rainfall across the desert Southwest here. Much needed rainfall, the beneficial rainfall they need with all that drought ongoing across these areas. And again, a very active pattern across southern Quebec, southern Ontario, so places like Toronto, getting up towards portions of the Montreal area here into Canada. We'll be seeing some widespread rainfall amounts of around 1/2 inch to maybe up to 1 inch of rain across some of these areas, and then marching its way back toward portions of eastern Wisconsin, portions of the upper peninsula there in Michigan, northern Michigan, and then down toward the Chicagoland area with that cold front here on Sunday. Looking at the monsoonal moisture, guys, we got here the day 4 excessive rainfall outlook here from the Weather Prediction Center. 2 separate areas of a slight risk for excessive rainfall and flash flooding. One across west central Colorado and the other across the majority of Arizona, and that just continues in much of those same zones as we kind of move into that Sunday and Monday time frame here on the day 5 excessive rainfall outlook for the potential for some slight risk for some flash flooding across Colorado, getting down to northern New Mexico and much of Arizona again as we move into that Sunday and Monday time frame. But let's kind of look at kind of what we can expect over the next couple of weeks here with regards to temperatures and precipitation. So looking at the temperatures, guys, from August 2nd through August 9th, here's kind of the first week or so in August. Yeah, we're expecting all that heat continuing across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and much of New England, and then kind of inching its way back toward the west, toward the Pacific Northwest. Again, these bluer anomalies, kind of below normal temperatures favored across Arizona, southern Utah, getting into western New Mexico there. That's because of the monsoonal moisture with all the rainfall and cloud cover, you're not going to have really that much of a chance to get warm out there. So we're going to see some cooler anomalies there. And then as we kind of move towards August 9th through the the August 16th time frame, we're going to start to see a little bit of some changes. And what I mean by that is we're going to see this ridge of high pressure here with all that hot air, hot and humid air start to push its way to the north and west again across southwestern and southern Canada, as well as the the Pacific Northwest again. So even though the Pacific Northwest is cooler for now, I do think another heat wave is on the way as we move into that second and perhaps the third week in August, with some cool downs here expected across portions of the Ohio Valley and getting back toward the the Rockies here in the southwestern United States for a time as we get toward the middle of August. But kind of looking at the precipitation type here, type of time frame here, August 2nd through the 9th, again, widespread rainfall across portions there of southern Canada, getting down through the Ohio Valley and down towards the Gulf Coast states. And then across those monsoon areas, across portions of the Four Corners here from Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and then getting up here to portions of Idaho, Wyoming, and Nevada as well. But right in between there, we got all that hot air, all that kind of dry air with the drought there from Texas all the way up to the north through the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Some drier anomalies there showing up for your continuing that dry spell across these areas, even across southern Saskatchewan and southern Alberta, very dry as we get to that August 9th time frame. And that just continues as we kind of move through the middle of the month. The active storm track is really going to push all the way far to the north here into central Canada off the screen, and that really means that really we're going to have a dry period across much of the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and the Ohio Valley, perhaps even the New England region as we kind of move toward that August 16th time frame. But again, that monsoon rainfall will continue in earnest across portions there of Colorado all the way across the Four Corners region as well. A little bit of some precipitation showing up across Florida that could be tropical feature, but again, too far to tell. So we'll continue to watch this as we get a little bit closer toward the middle of the month. Speaking of the tropics, we're watching another kind of system that could develop here rather quickly in the next few days across portions of the eastern Pacific Basin, right off to the south and west of the Mexican coast. We got a system moving over the Central Americas right now, swinging its way to the west, and it does have a 70 to 80% chance here of development over the next 5 days, if not the next 2 days out here across portions of the eastern Pacific Basin. The National Hurricane Center is also monitoring this area in yellow for a potential 20 to 30% chance here of development over the next 5 days or so as well. So very active time of it across portions of the eastern Pacific. I know we had Tropical Storm Georgette that is now actually a depression. We had Tropical Storm and then Hurricane Frank, which is actually weakening right now and heading toward California. So that are just two storms that have just happened in the last week. So very active weather pattern. And you can really see here where this system is. You have all that taller convection with the thunderstorms across portions of the Central Americas. These will be swinging its way to the west, starting to organize a little bit more as we kind of move towards the next few days. So we'll continue to see if this does develop. The National Hurricane Center, like I said, has that 70 to 80% chance of development over the next 5 days, if not sooner. So we'll continue to monitor this system as well. And look at all the warmer waters across the eastern Pacific Basin here, these orange anomalies here. Yeah, we're still got some warm waters across this area for some of these storms, if they do develop, to actually, start to intensify to tropical storms, perhaps even low-end hurricanes again, as we move towards portions there of the eastern Pacific Basin as well. And kind of looking at this here in the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf, again, no new tropical cyclones, no new tropical systems are expected over the next 5 to maybe even 10 days out here. Again, very quiet weather pattern across much of the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf, and that looks to persist as well. We got that very stubborn high-pressure system over the central Atlantic basin, steering this flow here, clockwise flow with all these waves off of Africa across portions of the far southern Atlantic basin and across the Central Americas, and that is why the eastern Pacific Basin here has been just so active lately, and that looks to continue. We do have a wave coming off here, Western Africa right now. This actually will kind of shift off to the west, but with all that Saharan dust and all that dry air and, the lack of, a lot of that wind shear out there is actually going to promote this to kind of weaken as it pushes to the west over the next several days. So I'm not really thinking this is going to become anything much more than it is now. So we'll continue to watch it, though, over the next few days. Looking at the El Nino update, I know I did show this a couple days ago, but we're still seeing a very strong La Nina sounding here on the, the Nino index. Back in May, like I said, we had a strong La Nina around negative 1.0. Then it did weaken here to about a negative 0.3 or negative 0.2 here at times as we got toward the middle of July. But now we just had rapid strengthening of the La Nina here the past few days and even the past couple of weeks, and this has just been rapid strengthening. I mean, look at this, guys. It went from a negative 0.2 all the way down to almost a negative 0.7 within just a couple of weeks. And if this continues, if this trend does continue into the early fall and even the middle of fall, guys, we could be in for more flooding events, potentially more severe weather events, and an active hurricane season as well. So we'll continue to watch this as we move forward. And you can clearly see the La Nina down here toward the equatorial Pacific, guys. We got widespread cooling here across portions right off the western coast there of South America and moving across the the equator here, the equatorial Pacific. Yeah, we see a lot of those cooler anomalies here. Well, we do have a big kind of anomaly there across just north of the Hawaiian Islands here for warmer anomalies with the sea surface temperatures across the northern Pacific, and that is driving some of the weather forecasts here for portions of the United States here right now. Again, we have that ridge across portions there of the northern Pacific. We got a little bit of a trough every once in a while starting to develop across the Pacific Northwest and the Aleutian Islands, and that does force that ridge to kind of move back and forth from west to east across the United States from time to time, and that's why we see all those heat waves just persisting here across the United States here for so long as well. And kind of looking at this a little further, look at all these kind of smaller blue little dots here on the sea surface temperature maps. These are just bursts of cooler sea surface temperatures that we see across the equatorial Pacific, and this is the La Nina that we've been watching, and this is over the past 7 days change of the sea surface temperature, and yeah, we've had bursts of some cooler waters with some upwellings across portions of this area as well. So that does mean that the La Nina has been strengthening very quickly. And looking at this here, I'm not sure how much you can see of this map, but you can see here some drier anomalies here are showing up with especially a lot of that heat out there as we move through August, and that just continues here. Drier anomalies across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes during this time frame. A little bit of some precipitation showing up across the East Coast here and down toward Florida in August here, probably favored toward the middle and end of August. You still got a little signature there around the monsoon areas, but as we kind of move towards September, we still have a warm September ahead. I think all that heat will just continue into September as well across most of the country. And kind of looking at the precipitation here for September, I do think September is actually shaping up to be a very active month for tropical systems in the Gulf and the Atlantic. I think the Atlantic will start to wake up as we head towards September. You see the precipitation anomalies, especially across the western and northern Gulf here, moving across portions of northern Florida and getting into the southeast here and even into the portions of the western Atlantic as we move into September as well. Although here we still have that monsoonal weather continuing across the four corners in September. It really looks dry across much of the mainland U.S. as we move into September, and then even October. Looking at the temperatures, a very warm October could be ahead with all the La Nina conditions out there as well, and that looks to persist into November, guys. Look at the anomalies down into North Texas and portions of Oklahoma in November 2022. Widespread, potentially above normal temperatures, potentially even well above normal temperatures into November as we move here into this, as we head into early winter. So yeah, this is kind of your preview in the fall, and it does look to, with the strengthening La Nina, it does look like we're going to be getting into a kind of an Indian summer here this fall, with the potential for, some warmer temperatures, potentially heat waves extending all the way through the end of fall. So we'll continue to watch that. Again, looking at October, for it looks pretty dry across much of the United States, and you can see those precipitation anomalies persisting across the Gulf of Mexico into the western Atlantic. I think October will again be another active month for some tropical systems and hurricanes potentially across or just near the U.S. And as we get into November, it looks like we might quiet down the hurricane season just a little bit across the Gulf and the western Atlantic, and it looks actually rather dry across the Gulf Coast from Texas all the way up here through the Tennessee Valley and perhaps New England in November. An active storm pattern across portions of the Pacific Northwest towards Seattle and portions there of Portland, Oregon, but again, kind of in between across the Rockies, getting up toward the upper Midwest here in the southern Canada, kind of near normal precipitation as we get towards November timeframe there. So guys, thank you for watching my video. Remember to like my video down below. Give me a thumbs up here. I'll answer all your questions, comments, and concerns later on today. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Much appreciated, guys. Thank you all for subscribing and liking the video here and all that stuff here as well. Much appreciated. Have a great Wednesday, everybody, and I'll see you here in the next video on tomorrow.